good to go.
Bink, bink.
Shall we do it? Shall we do it?
We shall.
Go for it.
The Nintendo Shack is back. Welcome to PSVG's Nintendo Shack, a proud member of the Plays of Video Games Podcast Network. I am Jason Lacey. I'm joined by the crew, but first, I have to mention that we're powered by some excellent people that support PSVG over at patreon.com/PSVG. Coach Helk, Edwin Callow, Devin Dias, Kevin Austin, Chris M, Kyle Heyman, Joel Foss, Josh Burboni. Thank you all. If you guys want to join this illustrious, this elite crew, please check out patreon.com/PSVG as I get ahead of myself. For all the details, welcome to Nintendo Shack 65. We are hoping your Saturday, if you're listening to this as it releases, finds you well. If you're joining us live at twitch.tv/PSVG, welcome. We're happy to have you here. I am Jason, as I already said. Who's with me? The crew. Caroline is here.
What's up?
Dudes.
No poem. Dude, sorry, no poem.
Dudes.
Got a hemorrhoid there?
Maybe. I got a cream for that. Actually, I prefer the wipes. Cream's a little messy. You don't want to get with that application and stuff, you know? You want to use the
I
wipe.
can't tell if Donnie is yawning or like holding in the
I
lap.
think it was a little bit of both. I think it was a little bit of both.
Oh, gracious.
I'd like to think, maybe. I don't know.
He might need some cream himself.
No.
Right?
No. Greetings, Koopalings. I'm here.
Hi.
At least for one
Donnie's
more
here
show.
too. Hi, Donnie.
Hi. Hey, guys.
How's life? Not good, but you're here with us.
Yeah.
We're happy you're here.
Yep. So this is most likely my final show for a few weeks. So, not just here, but anywhere. Like you're not.
Donnie's going to die, and we'll res him somehow in the near future.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a while. So for those of the listeners that don't like my opinions and don't like how long I talk or any of the rants, and I know there's those folks out there, you're good.
Yep.
You're good. You don't have to listen to me anymore until I make my triumphant return. Don't call it a comeback.
Oh,
I should totally do that. I should like record like YouTube montages and do. I should totally do that. That's exactly.
Ain't no G. All of a sudden, it's like ain't no G's. Play Nintendo.
Actually, forgotten, like slow fades.
Ain't no G's. Play Nintendo.
Make a lot of gifs of myself. Tweet those. Yeah, we should do that. But
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So we start tomorrow. Super Bowl activation starts tomorrow, and we go straight through February 6th.
So for those of us uninitiated, when you say activated,
yeah,
like what does that mean?
We have 13 command posts, and what that means is there are 13 rooms across the city that is full of public safety, chiefs, fire, police, feds, FBI, GBI, Homeland Security, terrorist hunters, cyber terrorism, NFL, host committee, all these folks. That's how many folks. We've got 13 centers, probably 3,000 or 4,000 people that will open up their rooms. They'll have projectors on the wall. They'll be staring at systems. Icons and maps will be happening. Intel and news will be bouncing back and forth.
So it'll be like you're playing Ingress, but those are real life maps of data.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yes. So, So that's what's happening. We start tomorrow, and we go. It's not just the game. There's thousands of private parties, private events, VIP escorts, Taste of the NFL, the award ceremonies, the NFL Live, the concerts, all of that. And so they're happening all across the city, all across jurisdiction. We've got, bomb dogs from many states. We've got officers helping us from across the state. Like to say it's a big deal is an understatement. It is the biggest of deals. Like there's no activation as big as Super Bowl.
Yep. It is an experience. I've been there myself. It's at least a week long of events, and I can only imagine the prep.
I had a previous coworker that just walked into the Super Bowl.
That happens.
I think of it. I can't remember which one was it. I think it was when it was in at the Superdome. I think
the FBI has an entire presentation on these people that try to get in for free, and they turn it into like a social campaign, and they have followers, and they test all these security limits and everything. There's like a watch list. That's a thing.
Wow.
They have people's names, they have their emails, they have their faces.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's your fun fact for the day. There's now, you listeners, when Donnie says activation.
That's
how you know. That's what it's all about. But, we need to send Donnie off on a high note. We're going to miss him while he's gone because Shaq isn't the same without Donnie.
Are we?
We always miss the greet. I miss the greetings Koopalings when he's gone.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Carol, keep that going in my stead, please.
I will.
We'll have to find the perfect Donnie JPEG to display in your honor.
True. That would be the best way to do it.
I mean, that's the only way we do it with Shaq.
That's true.
I mean,
didn't
I
think
am a
about that.
testament to that. And if I can have my way, it's going to be the Eclipse picture.
The
I mean,
yeah.
that's my
The
favorite
Donnie
Donnie.
Awards.
Yeah, it's.
It's the Donnie Awards.
Although I will say that Donnie Hype is another one of my personal
Yeah,
favorites
that's a
that
pretty good
I've
one.
snipped over the years. Yep, that's the one right there. So we got a lot of news to get through. So let's just get the show rolling. Let's talk briefly what we've been playing. Guys, take a guess. Smash Ultimate.
Oh.
What else? What else are you gonna play when you don't have anything else to play?
You and everybody else that bought video games. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking actually now's a good time though. Like I need to get myself motivated to it. It's to go back and finish Octopath. But
Please
I
do.
haven't got myself in like the proper place to like get
You
into
do
it.
have to sit down and have some time with it, but I think once you get hooked on a storyline, then you'll be sucked
Yeah,
into it.
I think I
enough.
finished. I left off. I completed all of chapter 2, so that's where I stopped. And part of me was like, "Oh, I want to find the secret things, but this seems like daunting, and I just want to play. And then if I'm missing, is my party gonna miss out on some drastic power up if I didn't do it? All this nonsense." But the same day Shaq released last week, I did unlock Elite Mode in Smash. So there was that. And here's the thing, guys. I will say that when I did it, it felt like a carrot on the stick. Like I grabbed that carrot finally, and all of a sudden I was like, I didn't like that pull to like I have to play Smash. Was kind of like, kind of just went away a little bit, so I can pump the brakes. Now I can say,
you'd imagine with the announcement of this tournament that you would be like, flexing
no.
hard right now. And Jason's like, this.
I
is
thought
my
about
moment.
it. I thought about it, but here's the thing: timing. It never works good for me because I don't play games. I can't play games, or I don't have time to play games when my son's awake and around. So that's issue number one. Number two, I was like, let's look at the rules here. 1-on-1, okay, great. 3 stock, great. 7-minute timer, okay, looks good. Time limit, this all matches up. And then I'm like, oh, Smash Ball. On. Items. On. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm out. No desire to play with that because I played against somebody. I played against somebody last night that for whatever reason he had a Smash Ball in his rule set, and when we got my rule set, I dominate him. When he got his rule set, he was Ness, so he could just get the Smash Ball faster than me, and I'd lose 2 stocks because of Smash Balls. So I understand why it's in the game, but I don't think it's good for a tournament type setting. So no interest, and all I can hear in my head is Kevin. That's how the game's meant to be played. Oh wait, that's not the Kevin voice. Let me channel Coach Hulk. Yo, it's wicked awesome.
Yo, wicked awesome.
Yo, Smash Balls for days, bruh.
He was talking about Zelda, and I gave him crap about it. I was like, you said Ocarina of Time, Ocarina. It was awesome.
Ocarina.
Awesome. Ocarina.
Yo.
Hey,
it's Kevin. I like the
You're
Yankees.
just like, I hate you.
can we get like a Dice Clay photo of Kevin?
Hey,
yo!
This is Kevin Austin, PSVG.
Oh, well, that needs to happen. We need that bumper. Oh. Somebody
Now
find
that
out
we've
what
got-
he's doing. I need to record a voice bumper from Andrew.
Probably
Dice
not
Clay.
much. Now that
Yeah,
we've
I know.
got
Yeah,
we've
probably not
hit
much.
the Kevin quota, we can proceed. Oh, but I will say I've lost matches since then, so I've already deranked back out of elite mode. So it was a brief stint, and because there's really good people up there, like I felt like I was getting bottom tiered at a tournament. It was bad. So moving on,
Moving on.
Caroline Donnie, I will let you draw straws. You made shoes.
I mean,
but
I
choose
want to
wisely.
review Travis Strikes Again, so it's going to be a minute. So, Caroline, do you want to go?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, since there's no more DLC, it is once again 100% complete. I kind of felt bad while I was doing it. I was like, man, I'm kind of finishing it really quick. You know, I take advantage of all of the trust game-breaking affinity chart things. You just like spam the pouch items and you up your trust with all your blades, and from then on it's kind of easy just to max out affinity charts, and that was really the last things I had to do, and it's all done. So if I ever decide I want to play it again, It will be there waiting for me, but until then, I think I'm gonna lay it to bed for about 400 hours worth.
I think that's just.
Yeah.
And then I've been getting back into Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate this week. Just been doing village quests. Nobody's really been on, and it's kind of like the initial hype from the game coming out for the Switch has kind of died down. And so all the people that were playing it when it came out from the 3DS port are not playing it right now. So I don't have exactly anybody to do hub quests with.
I hate that when that happens in games.
It's fine. I like to play with my viewers on stream, and a lot of them just are not around right now, so it's fine. Other than that, I've been playing that Ragnarok game still, and I'm kind of on a hiatus of getting games, and I do that because I don't want to, but because we're currently in the market for a house right now, and we're going to see someone Saturday, and we've already been pre-approved, and we're like tight budget. So I think the next game. What? No,
sure.
no.
I know. Sure. Okay.
Anyway, tight budget.
We know Caroline, right? I mean,
right.
Listeners, we know Caroline, right? I mean,
the next thing that I'm going to be getting is Yoshi at the end of March. Like,
there's only room for one of us that doesn't buy games on this podcast.
Fine, Jason, I'll fight you. And I mean, like, I was budgeting and I'm so freaking out about it and everything that I'm like, oh my God, we're not going to have any money left over at the end of the month. And Brian's like, please leave something in there for your games because you don't want to be miserable. And I'm like, I'm not miserable. It's just that I'm not getting the new stuff.
I can back up B-Man. I 100% bought like a super cheap house. I definitely could afford a much nicer house, a more modern house. I bought a super cheap house because, one, I'm frugal, but more importantly, you guys already know, I enjoy buying things. I like having toys and living life and going out and doing things versus struggling to meet the rent. I'm also super weird conscious, if I lost my job or anything. So there's also that in there too.
There's
I have super anxiety. I'm I need to be able to pay this if I worked at Walmart. That was the goal. It's I need to work anywhere and still be able to afford
or if you're
rent.
a federal employee.
Being inside the perimeter of Atlanta is so nuts that we're having to take out a second mortgage. So we're going to be putting down 10%. 80% is going to be in the first mortgage, and then second mortgage is another 10%. But that way
bad because we struck. Not that this podcast needs any house talk, but we struck when the market was right. And we got so dirt cheap. I feel bad anybody buying a house now because everything feels
things are coming
super
back
inflated
a little
now.
bit.
A little bit.
December, it was quite a lull for homeowners, not having any of their houses sell. So I think a lot of the prices have been coming down. I've noticed on Zillow that a lot of these things have been sitting on the market for over 90 days and people are starting to get restless. So
wow. When I bought a house, the house was on the market for 3 years.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
my house has almost doubled in value since the day we bought it.
One of the ones we wanted to see this weekend got taken off the market today. And I'm like, dang it. That makes me so mad. But it's competitive, I guess. I don't know. It's I'm very particular too.
If it's a good deal, it's going to go fast. It's going to go fast. Yep.
Anyway, games are on hold, so you'll see me playing a lot of stuff that I have.
You'll get some indies.
Oh, I'll get some indies. Yeah, stuff that's less than 20. I think I do have Valkyria to go back to, but I haven't touched it.
Football Heroes Turbo.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
You got to get that game. So we've been playing it.
I've still got to get Zenbound when we talked about
No. You got to get Football Heroes Turbo. So we've been playing it ever since. We played it all week. I have now completed 4 seasons of football in this game. It's got Jack completely off of Starlink. He's been playing football. He's not playing Starlink anymore. I had to remind him that we still had Starlink the other day.
It's hilarious.
I was like, are you going to play this or can I start it? And he was like, oh, yeah. And he grabbed the controller and he went upstairs and started playing it. But the football game is really good. I think you'd like its addictive RPG nature and how you upgrade your team. So I wasn't wrong because I'd only played an hour last week. But to refocus and to educate, you play a season. If you're playing solo, you play a season. You have to play a season. The first season's really easy. Then you get bumped up a level. That gets harder. If you win that level, you get to go up another level. If you lose that level like I did, I got my teeth kicked in for 6 games. I was really the Cleveland Browns. I was 0-6 in the first thing. Then you have the choice to go back down a level and kind of grind out some players and come back up. which is
That's
what
a
I
good
did. I went
mechanic.
back
Yeah.
down, grinded, got some better players, got some more money, came back up and won the second one, and then went to the third one where I once again kicked in the teeth, and then you go back. So that's kind of how the progression goes. You can buy free agents. If you buy free agents, you can sell your old players for more money. You can put them in new positions, or you earn points and you can train up your own players. So you kind of have like this 2-factor go. Here's the thing though, your team experience, like I'm going to call it experience because that's really what it is. As your team wins and progresses, it basically levels you up and inflates your salary cap. So you can only spend what your team level will allow you to.
I see.
Okay.
And that's kind of the game. And then Football
This
Heroes
sounds-
Turbo is super fun.
This sounds like spirit mode in Smash Brothers.
Kinda. It's not like all that
Leveling up your
triangle, but it's
spirit.
kind of similar.
Sending them to the dojo to get good. That
And
kind of crap.
It's super fun because, like, you guys seen it. You guys saw the gifs I was posting. It's like this Castle Crashers, Streets of Rage, Tecmo football game.
hilarious. I watched a lot of footage of it.
I got this tight end who totally does this Blanca electricity thing. Like, I throw him the ball, and like he runs to the first down. I wait for the entire team to get ready to tackle me, and then I just do this electricity bolt, and they all go away.
Urbosa's Fury.
I've been trying to beat this one quarterback who has this power up that I'm dying to get, where at any point in the game he can just make all of the defense fall down. Like he just drops back, you're there, I'm ready, and then everybody falls down. He just throws a bomb, touchdown. I've got to get this power up. The power ups are insane. It's stupid fun. It's super fast to play. It's super addictive to keep playing. And like I said, even though I was not happy the first time I bumped up a level. I was like, I do not want to play this if I'm just going to get beat over and again. Actually, in that season, I did go 0-6, but I totally made the playoffs and got to the championship game. Because by the time
you
I
went
reached,
0-6 and still made the playoffs?
I made the
long did-
playoffs because I came in like 3-6, and I was
How long
like
does
dead
the
last.
game last?
5 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay. Then that's
Yeah, the
fine.
halves are like 3 minutes each, and the clock goes really fast, and you only have like one timeout. Invest in a kicker. Like you're gonna want a kicker early because the kicker that you start with is terrible, and it costs you points. Because like you start missing extra points because his bar goes stupid nuts.
Yeah.
And
You missed my joke.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
You should be saying that to Nick Saban.
Good joke. Good joke.
I love that that highlight, that clip that you posted where you're posting your opponent lobs this Hail Mary into the end zone. You your defense knocked it up in the air. You intercepted the ball, then proceeded to run, punching, kicking away from the defense. And then there's
I
like
love the punching.
one of your random guys that's like downfield laying down. He gets up only to just fall down again. He's just laying there. And then as you pick six, and then they had, I don't know if it was the quarterback or they just had some random player that was just standing on the end
He was
zone.
hanging out. Yeah.
He could have tried to tackle you. He's just like,
He's just standing there. He's out of the
everything's
play.
fine. This is fine.
That was one of my star players as a
Like
cornerback that
football.
invested in, and he does a drop kick. So anytime like I intercept the ball, I immediately just drop kick whoever's near me and then take off. It's stupid. It's stupid fun.
Awesome.
It's so fun.
Waterboy style.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You got to get it. It's $14.99. It's worth every penny. It's by far the best football game we have on Switch, including Tecmo Bowl. By far, it's the best one we have on Switch. By far, it's not even close. All right, but the whole reason I'm here, I wouldn't be here.
Suda time?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this game. Like, I would have told you guys to go on. You guys would have gotten started much earlier than waiting for me to get home and get here. But I did play, and I did beat Travis Strikes Again.
You beat it already?
Oh, yeah. I had it beat on Sunday. Right? Was it Sunday or Monday, Jace? I don't even remember. Was Monday a holiday?
Monday was.
I beat it Monday. So I got it Friday. I started playing it Saturday and beat it Monday. It was probably, I don't know, 10, 12 hours. I haven't checked the clock, but
That's
maybe,
not bad.
maybe
but
10 or
still.
12 hours. It's not that bad. I'm not exactly, I've been thinking about this all day. I actually have a bunch of notes that I wrote down here, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and organize them. So this review may be a little weird. Here's the way I'd like to do it. I'm going to give you like Donnie's biased fan opinion, and then I'm going to be like critical reviewer. Does that
Okay.
work for everybody? So
Sure.
Donnie's biased fan. So before you guys hear what I have to say about the game, I'll just go ahead and state my bias. My bias is that I am a Suda51 fan. If you guys didn't follow us during our MomoCon coverage, I got a chance to meet him, got a chance to have him autograph this game for me, so I'm really excited to play it. I've played a lot of games in the series. I have a long history. I've got some nostalgia for the Suda51 stuff. So that's my bias. That's where this review comes from. The fan in me, the Suda fan in me, is really excited, and I really enjoyed this game. I didn't expect it to play as nice as it does. Now it's simple, and that's probably my one, not letdown, but one of the detractors. I wish it did a little more. It's a very simple game. It's hack and slash. You've got a strong attack, you've got a light attack, and you can jump, and that's it. And you kind of clear the stuff. Now that doesn't mean, I've heard a lot of people say it's repetitive. I don't think it's repetitive at all, actually. I would go against that. And because I feel like at every point in time where it starts to just wear out its welcome, they always introduce a new element. It doesn't change the way you play the game, but they add a new wrinkle that makes it worth continuing playing. Early on, they keep adding new enemies. You reach kind of all the enemies you're going to see after like the second world, but even after that, then you start doing different kinds of platforming challenges, different kind of puzzling challenges, different kind of mini games. Like they always kind of break up the tedium with something until you reach the end. It wasn't until the very end of the game that I feel like it started to get tedium. That very last level is probably the low point for me because the environment was dull. Like leading up to it, the game style oozes Suda. It's got that rough, it's not a pretty game. I'll go ahead and say that now. It's not going to like blow your mind. It feels like an indie game, which is, he's kind of marketed that way. He's promoted that way. He's done AAA games in the past. If you guys don't know Suda, if you don't know Suda51, he's most famous probably for the No More Heroes series on Wii. So he had No More Heroes, No More Heroes 2. He also did Lollipop Chainsaw, Shadows of the Damned, The Silver Case. There's a bunch of them. Killer 7, it's a big one that a lot of people remember from the GameCube. So he's done a lot of these games. I would never say he's never been like first party super popular game, right? It's always like a B tier title. Now, some of his games, Lollipop Chainsaw, No More Heroes, these are more like open world 3D. They're big games with big production values, big budgeted games to make. This isn't that. This is like indie game, like something that we'd see out of like a local studio, like a small team. And this was made with a small team. So that there's a part of it that leaves me just wanting just a little bit more, because in the environments where you're doing the hack and slash, that's fun. I just wish there was like one more thing. Like you could break stuff, or you collect coins, but like I wish there was like harder coins to collect or something. Like there's just not a lot of that. There's it's pretty much right in front of you. Everything you're doing is right there. I collected all of the Unreal coins on my first playthrough.
Wow.
So like it's
nice.
You're
See,
just,
I like to be able to go back and look for things.
right. So in that regard, I just wish, that's like my one detractor is I just wish there was one more element. I wish like I could break walls, or there was a little platforming, or like a hidden secret, or just something extra to make the combat a little bit more fun. I thought the level design was good. I really like the art style. It's not a looker in terms of this game's going to blow you away the way it looks, but it's totally Suda. It's got that punk edge, because that's his thing, right? Like, so Caroline, you know a little bit about him. He's got the otaku thing from Japan.
Oh yeah.
But like his style is like this cell shaded, like rebel punk style, and it's in every game that he's ever done. Like when you see a game, you go, "That's Suda51."
That's it.
Yeah.
That
He
game,
does very obvious style. Like, for somebody that's in art and graphics and such, I can pick things out.
yes.
Yeah, and it's definitely a stylistic choice on his part.
This game does that, and I love it for it. There are certain times in this game, like the second level where you're running through like a Japan street where the ground is all wet and it's lit up because it's an Unreal game. There are times in this game where it looks really good. Like I sat back and saw the neon and I was like, this looks fantastic. There's this Tron level where you actually do like this motorbike, mini bike, like racing game. It's not nearly as good as it sounds because you're not steering and whatnot. You basically just hold down the button.
Lost me at Tron.
It's a shifting game, but it totally does this old retro style where everything's backdrop and it's all like these neon glowing lines, and it's a completely different direction for the entire game. And they put it right in the middle of like you climbing this tower, killing all these dudes. So it's like you do this for like 15, 20 minutes. You're like, I'm starting to get bored. Bam! Here's this whole separate thing. Do this for 15 minutes. And then you go back to slaying folks. So I didn't find it repetitive at all. I actually really enjoyed it all the way until the end. That last section was a little dull, a little boring. Everything was very clinical and white. But the final boss was awesome. And
So you think that the final stage
Very
could
cool.
be cut completely, and then it would probably be
or if they just
better
made it a little, so the final stage, and I mean, I guess I'll say that it's not a spoiler. If you don't want to hear anything about the game, don't listen, skip forward. But the final stage does this thing where they inhibit your view. So like the screen does this thing and you have to click on the switch to like clear your view to go find the next, and it just feels like a gimmick. It's just cheap. You could have not done it. I feel like they were like running out of things to do with like this basic mechanic of slashing. So they're just trying to throw things at you. And you do like some of this teleportation puzzle stuff where you got to find the right door to get you to the right side to find the thing that you need to get. But I mean, largely, I got through it. It's about an hour. It just wasn't my favorite. It was probably my least favorite part of the game. So up to like at the very end, it felt, I was just like, really, this is how we're going to end it? And then I got to the final boss and I played as Dr. Juvenile, and the final boss is dope. Like, Jason, you got to play the final boss. Like, you'd like it. It's this, because you like these retro, games, these retro styled games with modern combat controls, and the final boss is challenging. He killed me like 6 times. I was like, dude, this guy is murdering me. Because they've got this, like, he does this thing where all of the squares below you, like half of the board lights up, and if you're on it, like you get hit. And then he does this thing where he starts smashing his staff and waves start to come through, and you got to jump over the waves. And then he sends out sentries. So at one point, you've got like half the thing lit up that you can't stand on, plus these waves and these sentries, and he's throwing his sword at you. And you have to do all of that while you continuously keep hacking away at his health and stuff.
And I bet there will be speedrunners that don't get hit.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. But to make it a little bit more fun, they do have these skill chips that you can find and pick up, and that gives you like special abilities, and you can mix and match them however you want. And there's a good, 15, 20 of them. Ones I kind of got, like, I probably played with like 8, and then it didn't take me long. I was maybe halfway through the game where I found like a good 4 that I wanted, and I played the rest of the way that way. But they're way different. You can play them differently. So there's like one where you can slow all the enemies down. Like you drop a plop on the map, and if anybody is in there, like they're just super slow. Then there's one that you can heal yourself with, and there's one where you can throw them away. You do like this force push thing, and like just different kind of stuff like that. You can really do it, make it a little bit better. But long story short, getting back to like, I completely mixed all this up. This is not how I wanted to do this. The Suda 51 bias fan in me really enjoyed the narrative because it's absolutely chocked full. I was about to say the F word. It's chocked effing full with Suda 51 Easter eggs from everything. It's not just a No More Heroes game. I'm telling you, the silver case is here. The 25th ward is here. Killer 7's here. Killer's Dead is here. It's all here. Like, everything's here except for, I think, Lollipop Chainsaw. And even then, there's totally a girl character that you meet. Her name's Juliet. Now, her name's not Juliet Starling, but her name is Juliet. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. But it's all here. And there's No More Heroes references. There's a part of me that wants to tell folks, if you've ever been interested in a Suda 51 game, but you thought it was like too weird, or like you thought maybe it was intimidating, I think that No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again is probably Suda's most like open to new player game.
Okay.
I think Lollipop Chainsaw was really easy to pick up and play because it was simple, and it was a game. It was like the games of that time, Dead Rising and stuff. Like Yeah. But with Lollipop Chainsaw, a lot of people are turned off with the lewdness, of Juliet. Like, I see that. So like this game, I feel is like very approachable. Now, if you've never played any of these games, you don't know any of these characters' names, you don't know what they mean, so you're not going to know it. So I would tell you, if you're playing this for the first time, and you don't know anything about Suda 51 or any of this history, when you encounter a new character, I would encourage you to Google the name and maybe just read like the first paragraph of who they are. I just think it'll mean a little bit more. Man, there's this Shadows of the Damned. There's an entire world in this game built around Shadows of the Damned. And it has its full-on cutscenes and everything. It's like you just boot into the game. And the characters, and I was taking screenshots because I bought that one on Xbox, so Kevin has it, and I was sending it to Kevin. He was like, I'm going to have to play this game. I was like, you kind of do. It's super fun.
Gameception.
So I really like that they did that. Now, have you guys followed this game at all? So the base...
I've never played any in the series, so...
The base narrative of the game is Travis... So if you've never played No More Heroes, Travis Touchdown is this anti-hero punk assassin kid who in the No More Heroes games was climbing the assassin ladder. That was his thing. He wanted to be the best assassin in the world. So it's like this A No More Heroes game on Wii was like this boss fight game where you just went to like boss fight to boss fight to boss fight, but it was all built around the Wii mode, obviously, for the hack and slash. But in between of these boss fights, you would do this dumb stuff where you would do like a motorcycle video game, or you would play with this cat, or you would, I think you like worked at a restaurant, if I recall one. I remember the Scorpion game, which is like infamous. It was bad, but there were like retro games in there. So you would do all these mini games in between to get to the boss battle, and you have like this huge epic boss fight. And, he says really high schoolery, dumb boy joke comments that are like either really stupid, cheesy, dumb, or, funny. Like funny, like lewd, I guess I should clarify.
Funny, you should see how Sean Capri, what Sean Capri's saying in the chat.
That's amazing that Wario64 had enough time to fill it. Oh, God. Yeah, that's good. So, anyway... So Travis becomes the best assassin in the world, and then in this game, like, he goes away. He goes and recluse. He's in a trailer off in the woods. Bad man from the other games comes to find him because he killed his daughter, and they get sucked into this video game. And this video game is the Death Mark 2, or the Death Drive Mark 2. Caroline, you'd love this part, because every time you boot up a game in the Death Mark, it goes, Death Drive!
Love it.
And that's the fun part, Jason, is that every time you boot up a game, so here's the game. You boot up the Death Mark, you put in a ball. Like, the games don't come in cartridges, they come in balls. They're called death balls. And you boot up a death ball, and you get sucked into the game, and then you have to play it. And if you die, then you die, right? And after you beat that game, then you get on your, I think the part that people wouldn't like about the game is you get on your motorcycle, and it's just like a text adventure. It's like you don't do anything. You just go through this text and read. And it's like in this DOS format, so everything's green and black.
Man, that's awesome.
I think it's great, but I'm imagining a lot of people are going to be like, I hate this. Like, I could see how it's going to be, divisive.
I love that.
I like that that Metal Gear references did with like the codec transmission.
Yes,
that's it.
That's probably the best picture we can paint for people that have never, that have no idea what I'm talking about. It's like that. So you have this entire visual story full of Easter eggs, full of rated R language, full of dumb jokes. There's points where he's talking about his own Metascore, where Gene is like, guys, nobody wants to click through this much text. Gene is his cat, by the way, so he talks to his cat.
Okay.
And he's like, nobody wants to read this much text. He's like, what are you worried about the Metascore? Is that why you make video games now? And like, it's so fourth wall. It's so tongue-in-cheek. It's so good. It's so good. I was reading this stuff and I'm just laughing. Roman, the Death Drive is not a Let It Die reference, but there is a Let It Die character in the game. And so you do that, you get another death ball, and then you go plug it into the machine, and it's like a whole new minigame. It's like a whole new world, everything. So you have these very separate worlds. Like, there's this one where you're basically in this like Resident Evil 2 knockoff mansion, and you have to find coffee and donuts to wake up this ghost to kill him, right? So that's one. And then there's this one where it's like this top-down Paperboy, where you're like in a town, and you have to click, and you have to like make all the streets move. It's like a big puzzle. Yep. My absolute favorite was the first one, the Electric Thunder World. And they all have these retro-inspired stuff, and it's really, really, I really enjoyed it. Some other qualms that I would say, it's not top-down, by the way. Did anybody listen to Bored with Video Games?
No.
I heard Delvin Cox say he was playing it, and he goes, it's top-down. I was like, it's not top-down. That's just wrong. There's top-down parts. It's kind of, it's... Mm-hmm.
It has like a variety, right?
It reminds me of Nier Automata. So with that game, that game would go from like side-scrolling shooter to top-down to side-scroller, and this does that too. There's a lot of time where it's from like that Link, like not top-down, like that third, like from the side, not fully top-down angle. What's that called?
I know what you mean.
That perspective, like Link Between Worlds, where it's not top-down, but it's from the side. So I would say half the game is like that. But then there are games where you go side-scroller, like that mansion level. The entire thing is a side-scroller platformer, where you're going up and down, left and right, the entire thing. Then there's the top-down levels. Then you've got like the racing, mini game, and there's all this stuff in between.
That's really cool. I love that it just jumps to a different game genre mechanic when you go into different areas. That's really neat.
And that's why I would say I never really felt like it was. There were times where it was repetitive, but I wouldn't call this a repetitive game. But you guys know exactly what I've always said long about, like, anytime a video game reviewer says it's repetitive, that means they didn't like it. Like, the best games in the world can be repetitive. Tetris is repetitive. It's an amazing game. Yeah. Repetitive only means that you like it or not. A game only feels repetitive if you don't like it. If you like doing what you're doing, you'll do it over and over and over for hours. Like we all know that. Pokemon's repetitive. It's been repetitive for two decades. People buy the crap out of the game. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Every time I hear anybody say it's repetitive, I'm like, just say you don't like it. Just say you don't like it. IGN's review, by the way, I watched. It was awful. I would say it was awful. I mean, I just couldn't disagree with it more. Like, they just lambasted the game for all the reasons that I wouldn't.
Well, that's IGN.
Well, you know, I won't even go there. But the so you've got all these different mini games, you got all this different stuff. I think for $24.99, which is the price that I think everybody should pay for it. So that's the price it is on the eShop. You get the game for $24.99. I think if you spend that, I think there's a lot of game here and a lot of fun to have. You should not be buying a physical version of this game unless you're just an absolute collector or you're a Suda fan. And but because I am a Suda fan, I am happy to say that I'm really excited that it comes with this DLC pass. So we get to play the campaign as 2 new characters, Shinobu and Bad Girl, both from No More Heroes. And both of the characters come with 2 story packs, one for Badman and one for Travis. And, without spoiling it, there's a pretty incredible, I would say, he doesn't explicitly say this, but there's a pretty incredible spoiler at the end of the game that points to No More Heroes 3, or definitely the next game. But it points to it more like it says it's actively in development, and they even kind of drop you into like a little room where you're like in 3D and you're Travis. And it's like, and he's like, where am I? And they're like, Psh, you're in the game. It's not done yet. Like it's definitely a thing. They're like, we're in development. We're working on it right now. Like it's a thing. It's totally worth having. I do wish the worlds, the aspect on most of the worlds, you're just zoomed out too far. I wish it was closer. And I say that because the t-shirts are really cool. The character designs are really cool. And because they're so small, you can't see them half the time. And that kind of just ruins it. You know, it doesn't ruin it, but it's like you only see your t-shirt like in cutscenes and like when you hanging around the trailer, like that kind of stuff. I wish I could do more of them. I did get Caroline would be proud. I got all but like 10, all but 10. I probably have 40 or 50 shirts.
As long as you got the Majora's Mask one, that's all.
I got both of those. Yeah, I got both the Majora's Mask ones. I got Hyper Light Drifter for Flux. I got Hollow Knight. I got Golf Story. I got all the indies. The only ones I didn't get, like so he's done so many Unreal games. Like that's his thing, right? He likes Unreal Engine. There's like 10 Unreal shirts. They're all the same thing. There's different colors. I didn't spend my money on those. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So sorry to rant so long, guys. I really like this game. I've been
it's not a rant if you liked it.
I've been a fan of Travis Touchdown in particular for so long. I'm really excited to see him back. I thought the writing was really good, and I hope this means that we do get a proper Travis Touchdown game, which looks like is the case. And I would really like him to remake some of his other stuff. Now, if you guys haven't heard me on other podcasts, especially me and Kevin, because I think we're the only people that really like Suda games, Suda games, especially some of his old ones, man, they're really hard to go back to. Like, his control styles of the past are just awful. Like, Killer 7 is a pain in the ass to play right now. The Silver Case is hard to play. Like, if you're not playing this thing on, like, mouse and keyboard, it doesn't make much sense on a controller. So I would like to see some of his new stuff, like the No More Heroes. I'd love to see those remastered. Lollipop Chainsaw is real easy one to play. Shadows of the Dam is real easy to play because it's just a shooter. I like more of that stuff. And like I said before, this is in that vein. I think it's a really neat introduction to Suda if you've never done it. It's a cheap entry price. It's real easy to play. You don't have to run into like the weird, hard to control issues that some of his games have. And and everything's there. There's a lot of stuff that maybe you get enticed to go look at some of the other stuff. So long story short, I really loved it. That's why I beat it in 2 days. And I'm looking forward to the DLC, and I'm looking forward to playing more. And I hope other people play it. And if you do, talk to me about it, because I know me and Grouchy have been having a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure all of you hated how many GIFs and pictures and videos I kept posting in the chat and on Twitter. I just kept doing it over and over and over. I was like, they're going to hate me.
I just like all of those Easter eggs that I kept seeing.
Oh, so many. I mean, it's really everything's in there. Like, every game he's ever touched is in there, I think. It's all there. And certain games like the Silver Case, No More Heroes 2, Killer's Dead, and obviously Shadows of the Dam, because there's so many. Like, he does an entire world built around it. There's so much of that stuff in there, like so much. Like, and So there's a part of me that's like, and I loved every bit of it. Like I'm singing, I'm like, oh my god, format Kamui. Yes, I'm taking screenshots. And then as I'm thinking like, how do I review this? I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, nobody's gonna know what the hell any of this means. Like they're gonna be reading this text and be like, what the hell am I reading? This doesn't make any sense. Who's Gene? Why is there a talking cat? What is going on? So that's why I was like,
That's true.
If you don't know what any of this stuff is, a lot of that you probably are going to glance over. You're not going to understand it. So, like, pull out your phone, Wikipedia, like, just get a base of what's going on. And I think this is a really great way of just kind of getting caught up. Get caught up to what's going on. Get ready for the future. So, I loved it. Sorry, guys. I know it was way too long. I'm sorry.
Boom.
People should be used to that, though. It's like, what's the last game you did?
I'm not on for like 3 weeks, guys. Like, give me a break.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, now we gotta hit the news really quick.
Yeah, now that you got your vocal cords all warmed up, Donnie, you ready to do some news?
Let's hit the news block. Yeah, so we had the Indie UK Nindy trailer.
Again, this is so weird how
UK keeps getting these things first.
Well, yeah. Well, the first time it ever happened, it was the UK did it first, and then Nintendo of America was like, "Oh, we have one too," and they showed some of the same games, some different. And then I think they maybe did that one other instance, but otherwise the UK has always done this. Like
later, but yeah.
Yeah, it's always done this recurring.
Do you guys mind that? I don't mind that at all. I think I like getting introduced to like different people and stuff.
Here's what I would like to know: if there's a more of a desire for indie titles, or there's more downloads for indie titles in Europe as opposed to America or Japan.
I would look at it the opposite way. I would think that maybe they're trying to let Europe lead to maybe like market to them more, and or maybe some of these developers, like I know, Image Inform and stuff like that. Maybe a lot of them are Europe based. I know a lot of them are.
I think that has a lot to do with it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care because we're all you're gonna get the games anyway. And if you can play the Switch is region free,
baby.
You can play all these games, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So the big one, and I thought a lot of people saw this coming. Wargroove launching February 1st. So next week. Is that next week?
Yeah.
It's Friday.
It's available pre-order now. Has local campaign, online, local multiplayer. You can create your own maps. So if you're looking for the Fire Emblem Advance Wars turn-based strategy game, you got one coming. I'd buy it if I thought I could play it. I'm not gonna. You guys know I'm not gonna be able to play it anytime soon. So I will get it eventually. But it's weird because when I get done with Super Bowl, I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 days off, and plus the weekends, so I'm gonna have like 5 days off, and I am gonna have a bunch of stuff to play that's just been put on hold for weeks.
They had a nice animation. I might get it just for their.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more militaristic in its setup at some point, but then it comes in. It's like anime, yeah.
And I'm like, this is literally Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
literally.
It is. So Sean asked, "Do we care about Wargroove?" I care about Wargroove. Do you guys care about Wargroove?
I
think I do.
I might get it. Like I said, I'm kind of on gaming buying hiatus.
Okay.
We'll see.
The next one is Double Kick Heroes. That is the unique metal rhythm shooter, which I've never heard a game described as. But that's the lady. She said that at the end of the trailer. She goes, "Double Kick Heroes, a unique metal rhythm shooter." What?
I just want to know. Okay,
so you drum with the Wiimotes, right? Or the Wiimotes, the Joy-Con. So that's the thing.
That would like interest me.
How do you play that portably? Do you just like shake the Wii?
Yeah.
Like, what do? You
tilt it.
Yeah, tilt it. I thought it was cool. The music was good. It's you drum along. It's like it looks like you're in like this car with your friends, right? And the people chasing you, gotta shoot them off, and you shoot by doing the drum. So
it's like we want you to play a game that's basically the intro cinematic of Rock Band.
Yes,
that's what.
Yep.
That's what they.
If they only did like a Mad Max level, we'd be set.
Ooh, yeah, right.
When Ski Lifts Go Wrong was out now.
Ugh.
Carol, you.
It's just an engineering game.
Yeah, which I have no interest in.
Looks like Bridge Simulator, or what's the other one? Like Portal. There's like a Portal Bridge Simulator too.
Well,
they match those two up.
The new bike game that we keep talking about is basically kind of like the
Trials?
same thing. Yeah, Trials.
Did you guys see that? By the way, there was like some news for that this week. Did you see it has like a lot of microtransactions?
No.
People
I don't care about Trials anyway.
People are upset about it. So it's got microtransactions, but the Ubisoft folks were like, but it's just for, I think, like in-game customization and whatnot. But I saw news about that. So if anybody's interested in that, maybe look it up. Google Trials Uprising microtransactions. Forager, the 2D open world build your own survival first on Switch game.
Link to the Past, X Minecraft. That's what I'm
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I was sad.
It looks kind of cool.
Because he like attacks the turnip thing and it says, I love you anyway. And I'm like, but that's so sad.
If I remember the right
You'll
game,
love me when you're dead.
if I'm remembering the right game, I don't think I like this art style as much. as the
It's
other
just
ones.
kind of very.
It's like, is this the flat one? It's like cartoony, but it's like really flat. Like there's
Flat,
not a whole lot there
Yeah.
going on. It's just flat cartoons and lines. I was like, no, I'm not into this. Goat Simulator. The Goaty, which includes all DLCs coming to Switch. I am not interested in that at all.
Nope. No thanks.
Goat Simulator is
Hard
fun
pass.
stuff, though.
It's fun.
It's hilarious.
Kara approved.
You can turn your goat into like you bring 5 people to this pentagram in the mountain and become the blood goat, and basically you've just made an offering to Satan and run around with like a devil
What?
red eyes. Oh my gosh, your goat gets all sorts of power ups and stuff.
I
I'm
mean,
the
it's
devil
basically
goat.
just a sandbox game, right? You just do
sandbox
whatever, and
I wonder if
so-
There's a
Melissa
lot
would
of
like
new
that game.
stuff that I hadn't seen. Apparently now you can be like a giraffe, an ostrich, a T-Rex. Lots of different
What do
stuff.
you do?
You just go. You
just
do whatever
go?
you want.
it's just there's no
Like,
like objectives, so to speak,
It's like
right? It's
Tony
just
Hawk, but with a goat.
Do you like
You-
kill people or
You can.
eat grass? Like I don't know what you do. Like, what is?
Yeah, there's like trampolines all over. It's just basically getting random achievements. So like if you
Alright.
jump on trampolines and
You see,
get
I-
high enough, you get
None of this is making me want to be interested.
no.
at all.
I don't want to spend money to waste my time. You know,
Inmost, game from Chucklefish, coming first on Switch. 3 playable
Looks
characters
cool.
and 1 story. This is like the dark, rainy art style game, right?
yeah.
Yes.
They had that little intro with the little girl and the
Yes.
thing breaking. Yeah,
So I'm in on this game for
this
sure.
was probably the best one that they showed. From
yeah,
what
that
I
looks really cool.
I've seen.
Yeah,
It looks good.
I think I might agree with you. Yeah, so this was on my short list. I was like, yep, definitely getting that. But we have no idea when it's coming out, right? It's just 2019.
I don't even know if they gave a date, but yeah.
Yeah,
Unruly Heroes is out now. Control 4 heroes in a single-player co-op campaign. This is the game that looks just like Rayman Legends to me. Like it
That's
looks
what
like
I
it's built in
said it
the
looks
exact same engine. Like if it had Rayman, I would totally go. I'd be like, yep, it makes a ton of sense for me. Which is funny because Seth in the chat was like, this looks like an UbiArt game. So we were like right on the same part. I was like, man, it looks just like it. I know Josh was really excited. Again, I've got a backlog of, so I mean, I'm just in no shape to tell people I'm excited for it. Like I have no time for it. So maybe one day.
you know, going back on Inmost, you know, Chucklefish man, has a lot of stuff coming out that it's like I'm
know.
really interested in. Like,
Well, so they're doing a lot of publishing, but like a lot of developers are developing, right? So it's like Chucklefish and
Chucklefish,
someone.
yeah, Chucklefish is doing a lot of publishing. Like they have a game. I don't know if they're publishing and developing that's in the works called Eastward. That I've been
I heard
really.
about that one.
That looks
And they
really cool.
The Witchbrook game that's
There's the
based
Witchbrook.
Yes,
Harvest
I remember
Plus-
that.
plus Harry Potter.
They have this other game I never heard of called Time Spinner that looks pretty cool. It looks like a throwback to a lot of '90s games. But
I really like their style. I mean, like that Inmost game definitely took some elements that they used in Stardew Valley
yeah,
with
Yeah.
the animations and the pixels and I don't know, anything that's really well done pixel art, I am a
yeah.
fan.
Speaking of pixel art,
2D RPG game Crosscode is coming to Switch in 2019 with exclusive content.
all I know is Jace Plays Games recommended this, so it has to be good.
All I know
right?
about this game is that if you listen to Jason Schreier and the Kotaku podcast, they've been screaming at this game for like 2 months. They've literally called it the next Hollow Knight. They're like, this is the
Oh,
next
wow.
Hollow Knight.
All right,
this is
gotta
the
play it
game
then.
that nobody knows, that when it hits Switch, everybody's going to be like, look how amazing this game is that's been on PC for 2 years.
Did you see that? Speaking of Jason, did you see that exchange they had where they literally like interviewed I think the CEO of the company and there's like and he said like the people were like, are you gonna bring this game to Switch? And they came right on record. It's
Yeah.
like we're not saying we're not, but it'd be really hard. to port
It's
this
almost
game
impossible to
it'd
do
be
it.
so really hard to port this game to Switch. And then it's like, hey, this is coming to Switch.
They've been talking about this game for a long time. It was like in a lot of people's Game of the Year contenders. So, I mean, at first glance, at my first look at it, I don't think I want to play it. But
That
if it's
trailer,
a-
I don't think does that justice.
if the
I don't
game,
think that was a good trailer.
Sorry, it was way too fast paced. I'm watching it like, what is going on? Like I couldn't. Everything was just happening so fast and like
It
all
was
the
like-
numbers and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it. There's damage and I understand. And then they have that nice cutscene type
Yeah.
thing definitely gives me those Super Nintendo RPG vibes, but
Yeah, I don't think that showcased the game so much. It was just like chaotic, animatic
montage things.
Yeah.
speaking of, they touted it as a Super Nintendo like throwback kind of game, but the narrator lady took a page out of the Donnie book.
It's not the Donnie book. This is how Nintendo pronounces
the SNES.
That's because that's what it's called. I keep trying to tell people this. That's what Nintendo calls
That's
it.
because
they call
she's
it
in
the
the
SNES.
she's in the UK. It's a Famicom. She doesn't know what this.
They pronounce it SNES.
SNES is canon.
Maybe
SNES is canon. Everybody else is like this alternative rebel without a cause thing. SNES is the canonical way to pronounce it.
You need to get a tweet out now and quote tweet that video and say, just so you guys missed it, SNES is now canon.
But it was canon because like what was it? I brought it up to Kevin. We were arguing about it. Like an NES remix, they have like a whole thing. Like when you go into the archive, you look up Super Nintendo and it says, just like you say, NES, like they go NESSS, it's SNESSS, like it's SNES. That's how they pronounce it. That's canon. And he was like, nope, don't believe it. I'm like, it's in the game. What are you talking about? Like, they put it in the game.
I love it.
In the game.
It's in the game. Oh, man. My daughter forever argued with me that they said it's to the game. For like 4 years that went on, by the way, just sidebar. Image and Form is back with SteamWorld Quest, Hand of Gilgamesh, a card turn-based battler coming first to Switch.
The card side turns me off a bit, but since it's Image and Form, I'll give it a pass and I'll check it out.
I'm just not.
I like Image and Form. But.
I've just never been one of those like Hearthstone card game RPG kind of people.
Well, the issue I have with Hearthstone is like if you want to be competitive, you're gonna have to either play it constantly or you're gonna have to spend money.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that doesn't incentivize me. You know.
Yep.
I think with SteamWorld Heist, I'd kind of fallen off the SteamWorld thing. I liked it. I wasn't like over the moon about it like it was SteamWorld Dig. I like SteamWorld Dig 2 a lot more than Heist, but none of them have reached...
You think in the trailer for this game, though, was, so good.
None of them has reached SteamWorld Dig, the first one for me proper. And so I think like from the beginning, I wouldn't say I'm falling off, but like it's just becoming less and less of like a... I don't think I'm going to try this one. I don't want a turn-based SteamWorld game. I thought Heist was too slow, and at least Heist had like guns. Like I think this might be even slower than I want. What I want, and Jason, you already know this because they asked us what we wanted, and we both tweeted at them. I want SteamWorld Castle Crashers, baby.
I thought we were getting that at first.
I did too.
I really did.
I want SteamWorld Castle Crashers. That's exactly what we want.
Gilgamesh,
Card-based
whatever that
battle.
sounds like. Fighting. You know?
So that's their big one. It's coming first to Switch, 2019, and then they ended with a montage of other indie games.
Which was weird, I thought, because all of a sudden it's like, here's Fast RMX, which came out in March.
I was thinking the same thing, but I think this is good. Anytime Nintendo can get these guys stage time, I think it's good for Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's good relationships, like it's like, hey, just in case you didn't hear about it yet, Hollow Knight's freaking awesome. Like, go get this game. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
So that was it. Everybody's still on direct launch. Looks like February. So Caroline, next year you can't say
next
January.
Next week Thursday, you guys.
Next week Thursday.
Next year it will be January because then they'll mess it and they'll go back to the way that things were. I think really that fake rumor that came out seriously deterred them. They're just like, we're just gonna stick it to them and be like, who cares? It's not coming out in January.
Because we're talking about February, I'll go ahead and burn this now because it's at the bottom of our list. Remember, guys, you have one more week to register Smash Brothers. Whether you buy it digitally or your physical card, you got to register it to get Piranha Plant for free. So Piranha Plant is coming out in February. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but on the news tab on your Switch, they said it's planned for February. So you got to think we're going to have a direct with that, right? Like Piranha Plant, here's what he does, right? We're going to have a direct that kind of talks about that and then, I don't know, does something
maybe
like that, so
we'll see. And then that's a good PSA also because it's also rumored that there's a patch coming to Smash Bros as well, like the 2.0.0 patch.
I would imagine
which is the lead up that people are thinking to PD Piranha or just Piranha Plant, I should say. Which is a disclaimer because I always forget to, if you have a replay, convert it to video now because otherwise your replay files will be voided once the update
comes
hits.
Out. And you won't be able to play online without it, right?
Right.
Yep. MPD, let's roll through that real quick because it was huge for Nintendo. MPD, here we go. Woo! Smash Brothers Ultimate sets a new launch month dollar sales record for platform exclusives in video game history, exceeding the launch month dollar sales of 2010's Halo Reach.
Eat it.
Wow.
Smash Ultimate was the best-selling game of December, the 5th best-selling game of the year, despite having launched in the month.
1 month.
Nuts.
It was not even a month. It was like 3 weeks.
Like, it was like 23 days.
So I put this in here to put this in perspective, because I said this a bunch leading up to Smash's release. The best-smelling Smash game was Brawl on Wii at 14 million. Now, that sounds like a ton, but on Wii, that wasn't a ton. Like, we're talking about a platform where Mario Kart sold 30 million. Wii Sports Resort sold 30 million. They had multiple 30 million. Like, we had multiple platforms that sold more than half, or twice that. I pulled the numbers here. So Smash has always been kind of a top 5-ish exclusive on every platform, but it's never been like a pillar, I would say. It's never been the Pokemon, the 3D Mario, or the Kart. Like, those are, in terms of sales, those are Nintendo pillars. 3D Mario, Kart, and anything else like that. So the highest selling is Smash's Wii, but 3DS sold 9 million. That's a ton, for the 3DS. GameCube sold 7.4 million. Wii U sold 5 million, and that was a big mover for them because they had the Amiibo tie-in and everything. They promoted it for years, like 2 years you got Smash stuff and all that. It only sold 5 million. Switch almost outsold Wii U in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's insane. So this is definitely on track to be the highest selling Smash game of all time.
Oh, it will be, no doubt.
You have to think like that's going to take notice. Maybe Smash has finally entered into that pillar arena. Now it's like, because we've always known it's big. Like Zelda, the franchise is big. We know that, but now it's profitably big. Like now it's super big. So now you think we're going to get DLC, and I imagine after we get these 5 characters, while we may not get new characters, maybe we get another mode. Like I expecting, Smash to live on.
Break the targets, please.
Maybe they do that. Like, I'm expecting them to add to this game for years. Like, they're not just going to quit with 5 characters and call it a day, right?
No, I hope not.
That just doesn't feel like that's what they're doing with their big games these days, right?
Yeah.
So, and plus they've got spirits, so they can always keep adding that way. They can keep doing more stuff that way. So, huge news. Backing that up, Nintendo Switch was the highest selling console of 2018, not just December. Think about that. PlayStation 4 outsold the Switch for every month of the year except for December. And at the end of the year, the Switch was the highest selling console on NPD.
That's insane.
The largest December month for any platform recorded since the Wii in 2009 in terms of units sold.
I'm trying to think what came out in 2009 that was such a big deal. Mario Galaxy had already been out for a full year. Brawl came out 2008 as well. Twilight Princess 2006. I'm just trying to think what was 2009 that was such a big year.
So that's and we should mention this again. The growth was abound. Everybody's selling well. Everybody's better than last year. Year over year, this was a huge year. I was listening to a podcast, the Games Industry Biz podcast, where they were basically saying like a lot of this bump is Fortnite. This is Fortnite based. Like Fortnite is moving hardware. They're seeing, apparently there's a trend with people that are buying hardware but like not buying games, and people that are buying hardware and a controller. And it's this service, this Fortnite thing, and that's what they're saying is kind of leading this push for Switch. Is not only does it have Smash and Pokemon, which is doing well, 5 and what I think Pokemon did 3 million in a month and a half. So that's 8 million there, but that 8 million didn't get them top console. Really, it's the Fortnite push that's really kind of pushed them over the head. And they're not really getting, like, you're not seeing a lot of that in the Nintendo headlines right now. Is apparently a lot of this is Fortnite based, which is nuts. It's crazy to think. So, like, the analysts are all talking about, like, we have no idea what to expect. Does Fortnite keep doing this? Is it possible to expect Fortnite to keep being this big and a bit bigger? Or are we setting ourselves up for a decline, next year when either something else comes out that does Fortnite things? Or
Fortnite is a fad, but, I mean, it's good that it's selling systems at this point.
So, incredible month. Look at this. All of this isn't to say that our console's better than yours. This is really just more or less an indicator of success. The Nintendo Switch is having success that we haven't seen since the Wii. Nintendo that we haven't seen for a while, actually, in a home console market. And that's good for us. If you bought a Switch, that's good news. And hopefully it leads to more Switch games, more Switch things. Like, that's good. That's really good. The top 10 selling Switch games of 2018. This is in dollars, not total sales. Smash Ultimate, Mario Kart 8, port of a Wii U game, like Mario Kart 8, Super Mario Odyssey.
Buy Mario Kart again? I can't believe this. Why would they port it? Why would they make us buy this game?
Seriously,
this is why. Remember what we were saying this years ago? Like, people are going to buy it.
That's
why they're doing it.
People buy Kart. Kart's like their biggest franchise. It really is. If you look at the numbers, Kart, like everybody buys Kart. Breath of the Wild, 5, Super Mario Party. Only interesting because Super Mario Party outsold Pokemon.
I give it the fact that it was there a month before.
But that's still crazy. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Pokemon sales, so NPD does purely physical, not digital sales. Plus, they split the Pokemon SKU. So Pokemon actually comes in at 6 and 7 because they treat them as different games. If you add them together, Pokemon's probably like number 2. Splatoon 2 and Donkey Kong and Kirby Star Allies. Donkey Kong, a port of a Wii U game, outsold a brand new game.
I know.
Yep.
That's why you port things, guys. We have a random Mario Kart 8 drop. Update 1.7.1 fixes a game issue where the entire game became unresponsive unless you press the home menu, and you have to download the update to play online. So people will be like, "Oh, Mario Kart!" Oh, they're let down.
Yeah.
So if you're one of these millions of people that bought Mario Kart 8, make sure you update your console.
It was like, what was that? It was like we got that random update before. What did they give us? They gave it the random in Mario Kart. They did that update, and we got
Link.
Link with his tunic. Yeah. Champion's tunic. That's right.
Yep. And the final news story in our news block this week is that Nintendo is officially hosting Smash and Splatoon tournaments. Starting in February, Nintendo is hosting a series of online qualifiers for Splatoon and Smash Bros. That lead to the final event at PAX East, where you can play for glory on March 30th. We expect Jason to represent us and gamers across the world there in both Smash and Splatoon. You're quite the Splatoon player,
God,
too.
I haven't played Splatoon forever.
I haven't played Splatoon in months. I think since Caroline, since Splatfest, I haven't played.
The Halloween one. Yes.
I think talking on a podcast before, like, yeah, the Splatfest come around, and I get so excited. I'm like, oh, I want to play Splatoon again. It's great. And then, no, I don't. It's just like,
The Halloween event was good. If they did more event stuff like that, I would play more.
Yeah, it needs to.
And if they update it so I could get into the game faster. Continuing that way.
I can't just play. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm a Smash elitist. I can't do the items. I just can't do it.
I ain't got 6 minutes to wait to play the damn game. I just need to get into the game faster.
God, amen.
What do you? So I ran through that pretty quickly. But let me ask you this. I'm going to throw a little tangent here. What do you think the next Splatoon should be? Like, should they just do more maps, new stuff, like a new story mode? Because here's what I'm thinking.
Shake it up a little bit.
I want a 2D platforming Splatoon. That's what I want.
I don't think it's a
shooter, and it needs to stay a shooter.
I think we could have something in the game like that, but I think you got to keep it.
It can still be a shooter. You can still shoot. I want the same basic mechanics of the character, but I want the puzzles to be built around that. It could be 3D too. I wouldn't mind a 3D world, but like we already see that kind of in the game. I would like to see them go in a different direction and give me something new. I would love like a platformer where I could shoot the platforms, I could stick to them, I could ride them up and like hop back and forth. I shoot enemies. I got to get ink. Like, I think that could be fun. I'm thinking like the best version of like Hey Pikmin, like the best way that could possibly be. Do it with Splatoon folks.
I was about to say I didn't play it, but I mean there was a best version of Hey Pikmin.
That's what I'm saying in my mind. Like, imagine it was good. All right, so instead of saying it's gonna be bad because I'm giving you something different, imagine it's good.
So we're keeping the 3DS around, so we're gonna get Splatoon 3D on the 3DS.
That's actually a lot of where this idea comes from, because I'm really surprised they never put a Splatoon property on 3DS. I'm really surprised that never happened.
I don't think it will.
I mean, I think they need to stop doing the map rotations and open up the maps and do some more stuff there.
I'm with you. I mean, we've talked about it. We're all for making Splatoon better, but I wouldn't mind. I would like to see Splatoon, the property, be applied outside of its current
outside
effect.
of just yeah.
Let's get more people introduced to Splatoon. Like, I would
Squid Royale.
I would totally be down for Splatoon Royale. Like, I would That you know what, that would fix everything I have about the game. The fact that it takes me forever to play it. Like, if I could just click the Team icon and play that, I would play that game all the time.
You'd ride in on that the shrimp with the food truck. His bus flies you into the map. You drop you on. Yep, there you go. That's the one. That'd
be dope. We're already over an hour. Do you guys want to cut the questions? Do you want to do some questions? What do you guys want to do?
I mean, we can always save the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that last one is gonna the second question's kind of heady. That'd be a lot of discussion, I think.
I agree.
That one.
I agree.
Okay. That's it. That's the end of the news block, guys.
We had a lot of news.
There was a lot of news. I mean, it's always
all
a
like
fun
boring
time
sales
to get
news.
Stuff drops, but I mean, yeah, we got the indie stuff. I mean, going back to that, I mean, unfortunately, there's like 3 or 4 games on that. I'm like, I really want to play those. I don't know how I'm going to play those.
We didn't know Kentucky Route Zero, no Shakedown Hawaii.
Yeah,
there's still these games.
I mean, we're finally getting Wargroove though. That's step one. We've been waiting on that forever. Let's get one of these.
True.
You know,
what's the other one? There's a couple of them that I've been trying to. Killer Queen Black was delayed, which is crazy because you guys know I was in the beta test and it was delayed until summer. So that's another one that people were expecting that's just not there.
Resident Evil 2 remake that's not coming out on Switch.
Actually, not the remake, but you said Resident Evil 2, and I was like, actually, it is. I think the port is.
I know this is Nintendo related, but I've been watching Let's Plays of that demo. I was like, oh my god, I wish I could get that game this week because that looks.
You have no idea how tortured I feel that I know that I'm.
I love that game.
I'm going to be working for 2 weeks, and by the time I get back and even boot that game up, I've pre-ordered that game for 8 months. I've had that game pre-ordered, and by the time I even start it, everybody have finished. They'll talk about it and be over. I'm going to come PSVG and they're going to be like, what did you been playing? I'm like, I just started Resident Evil. They're like, boring. We did that. Move on. And it just it drives me nuts. I hate that. I like being part of the conversation. And
you talk to me about zombies anytime.
Dude, Resident Evil's like, I'm with you, Jason. Jason. This is one of my favorite games. This is like such a Resident Evil 2 is a pillar of Donnie's video game history.
Yeah. I never did the second missions that much, but man, I did their first missions a ton of times.
So good. And this game, this remake looks like a remake proper.
Dude.
This is how you freaking remake a game, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. And one day I'll play it.
You don't know what to do with Mega Man, Capcom, but good on you for doing this.
Shape.
I mean, they're like, we're going to spend millions of dollars on Mega Man. They're like, no, nobody's going to buy that game.
Yeah.
People are going to buy this one.
It's like Konami. They don't know what to do with their games either.
That's true.
No, they don't.
That's true.
So, well, everyone, it's going to do it. It's going to do it for the Shack. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please give us a review. Go on to iTunes. We have the independent feed. Yes, we appreciate the parent feed. There is the network feed, gets you all the PSVG shows, but Shack has its independent feed too. We'd love to get a review from you on iTunes for that feed because it'll help more people discover what has been claimed to be, and I probably support this decision, the best Nintendo podcast available on the interwebs today.
By far.
I mean,
Without
do you
question.
want to deny future listeners that discoverability? I don't think you do. This is a public service that you owe it to yourself to complete. I urge you. Do it. Just do it.
Do it.
I mean, a wise man, well, he may not be a wise man, but a guy I know on the internet told me you always have time in your day to review podcasts. It's when you're pooping. It's perfect time to review podcasts.
Why do men take a long time to go to crap? Can we talk about that?
Smartphones. I mean,
y'all been doing it before smartphones.
Sports Illustrated. Swimsuit issue.
You just take.
It's quiet time.
Take phones. That's such a stupid excuse.
Meditation.
Says the loud person.
You know it's bad when you sat there too long and you try to stand up and your legs have fallen asleep?
Says the loud person who all caps everything. She's like, it's such a stupid excuse.
The difference between
I see Brian like closes that door and he just leans against the door. She's like, oh.
This is why I'm complaining about it, because I had a father who did it my whole life, and my husband does it for an hour.
So maybe it's not the men that do it, the issue. Yeah. Maybe it's look on the other side of the door. Maybe it's a you thing.
There's a correlation there.
There's a common denominator for both of these men.
Donnie can go ahead and leave.
So, as I say, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and please come back for more Nintendo Shack.
Good night, Koopalings.
Blah.